There were planes over the city, but they only dropped supplies outside the city. They said they couldn't see the city through the dust and did not want to cause more damage. There was a helicopter that tried to land, but he couldn't because of the dust. It seemed to us on the ground like there wasn't that much dust because we were accustomed to it. Airplanes dropped blankets and then medicine. Eventually, helicopters landed near the mountains just to deliver doctors. The next day, they could land near the hospital and take out people who needed surgery. Lack of organization was a big part of the problem. The planes were kind of flying around in a circle, pushing things out. The heavy stuff was dropped with parachutes, but the blankets were just dropped by themselves. On the radio, we heard them talking about the lack of organization because things were not getting distributed properly. The ones with clean water were hoarding. Even the ones providing supplies weren't well organized. Dropping so many blankets, but we needed food more than blankets. I've had a lot of spiritual experiences in my life, but as we had those meetings at the tent at night, I never felt the spirit so strong. Looking down at Yungay, it was impossible to recognize. It looks like a big riverbed, completely covered with mud. The avalanche filled up the valley. The valley looked like a V before, but now it's just topped off level. The only thing that makes a depth noticeable is a little river that carries the muddy water down.
We saw a woman we knew and asked, "How are you?" "I'm fine," she replied. "My daughter died." We expressed our sorrow, but she simply said, "Yeah, it's sad." She didn't cry or show much emotion. It hadn't fully sunk in yet. What struck me most was the sight of people sitting in front of their ruined homes, surrounded by the few items they had managed to salvage. They looked lost, clinging to remnants of their past lives. They dug out things they didn't really need, bent pots and pans, broken chairs, desperate to hold on to something familiar. Looking around the city was indescribable. So many people wandered aimlessly, stunned and displaced. We'd ask, "Where will you go?" "Probably Lima, it's safe there." "And what will you do with that broken chair?" They would pause, as if we had asked them a riddle, then say, "Well, I'll sell it." They had lost all sense of value. In the wake of such immense tragedy, they clung to whatever was left, no matter how useless it might seem. It was heartbreaking. Unless you've witnessed a city reduced to rubble, it's impossible to truly grasp the devastation. The experience was so overwhelming that people struggled to process it. I spoke with an American mountain climber from San Diego. After the earthquake, he searched desperately for his friends. As he moved through the wreckage, he could hear voices, people buried beneath the rubble, screaming for help. But he had no way of knowing how deep they were trapped, or if he could even reach them. He was forced to keep moving, leaving the voices behind. It haunted him. He also told me about a Peruvian girl he knew who had miraculously survived. When her house collapsed, the roof caved in, crushing everyone around her. But somehow a pocket of space opened up where she had been. She climbed out through the wreckage, one of the few who made it out alive.